Welcome to another insightful, educative episode of AAU Talks on AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa. My name is Ajaman Otrodako. Basically, this episode will be delving into the advancements and achievements that have been made by the AAU for some time now, 5 decades of champion higher education in Africa. And you would be so delighted to know that through our events and activities, we have in a way provided the platform to elevate higher education in Africa. And just stay with me to know more of these advancements and achievements as I will be sitting and talking with the Secretary General of the AAU, talking about these feats and improvements. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. So welcome back on AAU Talks, the voice of higher education in Africa, as we are advancing higher education talks. And if you joined us, we're looking at AAU's contribution to higher education growth and development and how we're elevating the quality of higher education in Africa. With me in the studio to discuss this is no other than the Secretary General of the Association of African Investors, Professor Olushalo Oyewole. Prof, you're welcome to AAU Talks.
Thank you very much.
Splendid. Yeah. Prof, we understand that for the past 3 months, it's been demanding. Seeing to it that the higher education business is well done and well delivered. How has it been for you all as well?
Yeah, great. I need to mention that my first interaction with AAU was in 2006 when I was engaged as the project officer in charge of a World Bank supported program titled Quality Assurance for African Universities.
Great.
Between 2006 and now, I've had opportunities of attending various conferences of rectors, vice chancellors, and presidents of universities in Africa, COREVIP, including general conferences. And one of the things that has been challenging me is on how AAU can make impact on the operations of these various universities in Africa. How can African universities contribute to the development of their own people? Or how can universities be the engine of development in Africa? These are the thoughts behind the current COREVIP that we've just concluded in Namibia some few weeks ago. I believe that we were able to achieve our purpose in that conference, and probably you may want to ask me some more things.
And that sets the ball rolling. The first thing is, pre-COREVIP, a very demanding event. How was it like?
Yeah, pre-COREVIP, I made it clear to our planning team that we want this COREVIP to be different from other COREVIPs. In the past, some of the COREVIPs that I've attended in the past, we come in, do a very elaborate opening ceremony, and suddenly the temple will go down with a general meeting of AAU members, and then we'll ask people to come and present papers just as if they are attending ordinary conferences. I told my team here that things must be different this time around. We just don't want vice chancellors to come together. We want their coming together to make impact upon their own leadership, upon their institutions, and upon Africa as a whole. These are the ideas behind the COREVIP that we just concluded. And we told ourselves that we cannot continue to do things the way we've been doing before and expect a different result. Therefore, we were committed to making a change. So we restructured the way we've been organizing COREVIP in the past, and that's part of the reason why you find the impact we've been able to make with this last COREVIP.
I must confess that this year's COREVIP, with your vision, it was really materialized. The difference was clear. The feeling was clear. And the comments from the stakeholders was that this year's COREVIP is unique. What were some of these unique ingredients that popped up that made it stand out?
One of the purposes of COREVIP was to promote partnership, collaboration among universities in Africa. I will confess that I'm convinced that we're able to achieve that. In that COREVIP became a platform where universities from different countries interact with each other. Not just interacting to say they are discussing, they talk of what they can do to collaborate in terms of their programs across different nations. We were able to achieve that. And another thing we did with this last COREVIP is that our long envisaged intention to promote a regional collaboration, integration within Africa was achieved through the COREVIP.
Okay.
In that COREVIP, we made it clear for universities to know that they are supposed to be universal in their operations, meaning that you should operate outside your region. Your influence should go beyond your region. Indeed, universities should realize that they are not just producing graduates for their countries. The research we do in our various universities, they are not just for our environment alone, they are for the world. And through that COREVIP, we were able to ensure that universities in Africa don't just partner with each other, but they were also connected to universities outside Africa. And somebody made a comment that they were surprised that in this last COREVIP, we have delegates from Latin America, we have delegates from Europe, we have delegates from North America, and even we have delegates from China. And when you look at the way that COREVIP was organized, it was to also give opportunities for these various blocks to come up with initiatives that can ensure that we make impact upon the way universities operate.
Sure.
You'll notice that in that COREVIP, the European Union Commission was given opportunity to talk of their activities in the area of education in Africa and how our universities can connect to them. The Latin American countries were there, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and they expressed their view of wanting to collaborate with universities in Africa. They noted that Africa and Latin America, we share some histories in the past. And our problems are common. And therefore, we have common solutions. And we can learn from each other on how we address these issues. And I believe that the Latin American universities were so happy that they have opportunity to make contact with universities in Africa. China came up with the idea of an immediate, what they call China-Africa Charter 50-50.
Okay.
Whereby they said within a very short time, within 3 months, we want to connect 50 universities in Africa to 50 universities in China.
Splendid.
That was a great launch.
Splendid.
And very also important is the research charter that was launched during that COREVIP, whereby we believe that universities that enter into collaboration with the universities in Africa, that enter into collaboration with universities in the North, they should not play the fiddle of being second-class organizations or citizens. Let us work together as partners in order to advance humanity in the whole world. That is the focus.
We also saw this session where quality rankings became a tussle, that we didn't have yet an African rating mechanism and we're now subjected to foreign rating mechanisms that perhaps were not realistic or didn't see the quality of African universities. How did you find that discussion about rating mechanisms, both African and international?
Yes. One of the things we found out is that one of the current trends in higher education today is ranking of universities. And we noted that universities in Africa had not been well treated in the world or global ranking systems that appears to be going on. In that you are not being fair when you are comparing orange with tomatoes. We believe that we should use criteria that are fair to all the partners that are involved. And that's why the idea of having an African ranking process was discussed during the COREVIP. And what this means is that we are interested in developing ranking. We are not afraid of ranking. Ranking can help to inform our clients, the students, about the quality of our various programs. Quality can ginger us to become excellent in whatever we do. African universities are not afraid of ranking, but we want to be fairly treated in terms of the criteria. And we also meted the idea is that you do not need an external body to tell you that you need to commit yourself to excellence. You need to have a mechanism where you check yourself and ensure that you are committed to the excellence that you envisage or you plan for yourself. And that's why the concept of African quality rating mechanism comes up. In the African quality rating mechanism, you are not competing against anybody. You are more or less competing against yourself. You are more or less on a regular basis, probably every 3 months or 6 months, checking up your standard against the standard you've laid. How far are you making improvements? Are you advanced towards the excellence that you envisage? And we believe that that internal mechanism is even more important than somebody from outside coming in occasionally to say that they are ranking you.
But Prof, you know, the name you get, that the Times Higher Education Rankings, the quarterly sermons, I've mentioned your university in Africa that you're doing well in this. That's global recognition. It's something that you may find quite very important to your growth. Maybe that's the reason why an AQR may not be an immediate motivation for universities in Africa.
Yeah, we quite agree to that. We are not against that. But we also note during that conference that there are some challenges that may not make the way ranking is being done in Africa to be credible. The strength of ranking is data.
Yeah.
The problem with the current ranking system is that those ranking organizations, Times Higher Education, they are only ranking universities whose data is available to them. If all they have is 35 universities in Africa whose data they can access, they only provide ranking of those 35 universities. And you think that they are saying that this is number one ranked university in Africa, without your knowing that they are telling you that this is the number one ranked universities among the 35 universities whose data we have access to.
Okay.
And one of the things we decided in that COREVIP is that let universities know that data is important.
Yeah.
Our policymakers need data. We should have data about our higher education operations in Africa. When data is available, then ranking organizations can have access to as many universities that they have.
Yeah.
And they can now say that when they say that this is number one, number two, number three ranked universities in Africa, we know that they are not saying that number one, number two, number three out of 30 or 40. But they are saying number one, number two, number three out of all the over 1,000 universities in Africa. They are yet to get there. And that's why right now, we are not disturbed by whatever they are ranking, but let us be concerned within ourselves to ensure that we are fulfilling the objectives, the vision and mission for which your university has been set up. When you are making it, when you are fulfilling those visions, I think you should raise up your heads.
Absolutely. So this and more after this short break. We'll talk more about the genesis of all these amazing MOUs with the China African University, also with the PARC and more. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back on AAU Talks. If you just joined us, I'm here with Professor Olusholo Oyewole, and we are talking about the AAU's contribution to elevating the quality of higher education in Africa, and this is based on the AAU's advancements and achievements over the period we're in. And Prof, COREVIP saw massive MOUs. I mean, I can tell that this year's COREVIP saw so much partnerships, so much amazing deals for African universities to be so delighted and proud to be members of the AAU. One of them is the research program that you talked about, the research partnership that you saw about the China Africa initiative as well. We want to understand, was it something that you foresaw that would happen, or you were blown away by these initiatives when they during COREVIP?
No, I need to mention that in 2022, I attended the World Conference on Higher Education, organized by UNESCO in Spain.
Okay.
During that conference, I was able to attend an organization called Global Association of Universities,
Okay.
whereby associations like us, AAU representing Africa, the European Union, European Association of Universities, China Association of Universities,
Yeah.
we were able to meet.
Okay.
And in the course of that meeting, we recognized that we should promote collaboration, reintegration, regional integration among ourselves.
Okay.
And in the course of that, I had the opportunity of meeting the delegates from China.
Okay.
Then we started discussion. That conversation I had with them in Spain led to AAU and the China Association of Higher Education, entry into a memorandum of understanding to collaborate with each other in December 2022.
Okay.
That's one of the beginning.
Sure.
Along with that, one of our partners, the Obre Global, was interested in what Africa can do to get connected to universities outside Africa.
Okay.
And in March-April 2023, I was invited to attend some meetings in Colombia and in Argentina.
Okay.
And in the course of that, I had interactions with some of our Latin America colleagues.
Yeah.
And in the course of that, we found out that we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And that's why during that my visit to Colombia, we entered into an MOU with the Colombia Association of Universities. I was also able to move to Argentina, where I had interaction with other organizations in Brazil and others. And in the course of that, in fact, the government of Argentina offered a 400 postgraduate scholarship to Africans to come and study in Argentina.
Great.
I was able to visit some of the universities and we learned a lot from them. And we feel that we need to bring them together to COREVIP so that they can have a first-hand interaction. And I'm glad that COREVIP was a great one in that participation was more than 400, over 450 participants.
Sure.
And then these networks that have been able to establish were able to connect to those associations, and they freely and joyfully too participated in COREVIP.
Great.
And we give them platforms to sell themselves to the African universities and see what we can do to interact with them. There was an immediate follow-up. 2 weeks after COREVIP, I was invited to attend the Global Association of University Presidents in Beijing, China.
Great.
Just about 3 weeks ago.
Great.
And that also made them to know that universities in Africa were ready to collaborate and learn from universities in other regions of the world.
When we see that, so when they were delivering their speeches, universities were like, we are ready to sign partnerships. We are ready for these kind of collaborations. We want to understand actually at what point where these MOUs were signed, and we learned that there were universities who were willing to sign partnerships right there. And it's about the tone that was set in there. What was the kind of tone in the room that caused all these collaborations?
One, I think the reactions of members was a reflection of their confidence in AAU.
Great.
They were able to see a new dimension of AAU in our ability to not just promote excellence within their institutions, but to empower them to be what they are supposed to be in their communities and in the world. I think that universities have been eager for this opportunity for a long time. The focus of COREVIP that we just conducted is promoting excellence in African universities. And they are seeing that there are evidences of excellence in various operations of other universities that they can key into. And that's it.
If you were, or let's say if you are planning the next year's or the next COREVIP, what difference or what value addition from this recent one would be there? What are you bringing on board again?
Yes, I will want in the next COREVIP for what I call evidence. Let universities show evidence that they are promoting excellence. Let universities show the evidence of the impact they are making in their communities. And I tell you, one of the greatest impact that universities can make is to empower their graduates the way we are going now is that for the future of Africa, we need to empower our young people. These are young people should not just carry certificates and say that they are graduates. They need the skills and competencies that can make them to compete in any part of the world. I look forward to our university coming up to say that these are the new advancements they've made in areas of research. Research is very important in Africa. In fact, one of the lessons we've learned from COVID is that the governments of Africa should promote research. When COVID came, they were able to get solution to it through research.
Yeah.
And when that solution came, various countries took care of their own people first.
Sure.
And African that hasn't got the facility to produce vaccines were at the mercy of others. We've now seen that it's high time that African countries should empower their own researchers. They should empower their own universities to be able to produce local solutions to local problems.
You know, it is undoubtedly that we have seen, or members have seen, that the AAU, through the launch of the PARC, through the China Africa Investors Consortium, and also the endowment fund, are signs of confidence in the AAU. If these are no more, what are the other things that the AAU is doing to restore this confidence?
We cannot say that those things will not be there, but we will say that we want to prove to people how we've done them better. We will need to showcase the impact of those things we have done. There are some other areas that we need to go into. Right now, artificial intelligence is on the platform in the whole world. African countries cannot afford to be left behind. People are talking of artificial intelligence now. They are saying that if you promote
ChatGPT,
ChatGPT,
it will destroy academic honesty.
Your students will not be
Yes.
able. They will not learn again.
Yes.
It will not make them
Very
to
independent.
think about. But that is not so. What ChatGPT will do is that it will expose the learners to more information beyond what they can get in the classroom.
Yeah.
If you give them assignments, the fact that they've been able to access more information than the teacher is a plus for the teacher.
Yeah.
In that you've been able to push them to go and look for solutions to problems. And then in terms of assessment, I think universities in Africa will need to devise new means of assessment beyond just
The pen and paper, marking.
And then we should be concerned about skills and competencies acquired, abilities to solve problems, ability to work with each other, ability to have critical thinking. Those are the things we should assess, not ability to memorize and pour back on paper. I think that African universities should develop with time. And technology is very important. And that means that universities in Africa must connect to technology to improve their teaching and learning, and indeed all their operations. You don't need to be in classroom before you can learn.
Yeah.
In fact, our processes should go beyond the degrees that we offer. We should be able to provide learning opportunities for even graduates that have left our universities. Because right now, what is on the vogue is lifelong learning. Every one of us should be ready to learn new things.
Are you overwhelmed today that African universities are quite averse to change with the AI you're talking about? Do you think that it would take a longer time for African universities to transcend from their normal state to the artificial intelligence state?
No, I'm not overwhelmed and I'm not disturbed, because really my optimism is not resting on the university alone. My optimism rests on the fact that our young people are versatile.
Okay.
Our young people are intelligent. Our young people are ready to take up challenges. Put young Africans in environments where they can learn, they will make great impacts. So my optimism is based on the fact that Africa is blessed with a massive young population.
Yeah.
And when this massive young population, when they are released to to show their potentials, we will change the face of Africa.
Well, you said it all. Your faith in Africa's youth dividend is amazing, and it's also very motivating. Prof, if you were to talk about just a handful of some of the, I would say, standing blocks or the bottlenecks. I mean, everybody encounters these. Pre-COVID, pre-COREVIP, and post-COREVIP. Were there any concerns of doubt, of confidence in the AAU and how it's packaged to its members? And post-COREVIP, how do you feel of deepening AAU's confidence to its members?
Well, post-COREVIP, our members are the one advertising COREVIP to their colleagues who are not members of COREVIP.
I see.
After the last COREVIP, we've had more universities coming to join AAU than before COREVIP. Our members are the one telling their colleagues that for them to make advancement in their universities, they need to get connected to AAU. So we are getting new interest in AAU. And also to note that AAU has a great workforce.
Yeah.
Coming to AAU, we have so many young people. And I tell you, one of the strengths of AAU are those young people who are working in AAU. As we move forward to beyond now, there are 2 initiatives which I've proposed, which I believe that will advance the work of AAU. I've said that we are starting what I call the AAU Associates.
Sure.
Not just for staff working in AAU. It's a program whereby we will allow academicians and even university administrators who want to represent AAU in their various universities to apply and be recognized as AAU associates. They don't need to come to AAU before they can provide service for higher education.
Yeah.
But as AAU associates, we give them opportunity to get connected to international activities through AAU. And I believe that through that, there should not be any university in Africa that hasn't got an AAU contact, an associate working with them.
Sure.
I'm also looking at the possibility of extending this type of thing to our students, so that our students will know about AAU even before they leave their universities.
Yeah.
I hope that this type of initiative will advance the vision of AAU more than what it is today.
It's been a very wonderful conversation thus far with Prof. And, when I start talking with him, it's more of like we can't end because lots of insights keep to spring up, And Prof, one last thing, the lessons. I believe that this year's COREVIP is a great lesson for AAU itself on how to manage its stakeholders. If you were to pick one lesson, very important lesson, that will guide AAU's activities in the future on relating with its stakeholders, what would that lesson be?
One, commitment to the vision of the Association of African Universities.
Great.
I think that we need to be highly committed to that vision. And 2, let's think of new ways of doing things. We cannot be doing things in the old way we've been doing before and expect that we have a new result. So I'm open to learning new things and to learning from people on what we can do to advance university and higher education in Africa beyond what it is now.
Spot on. So change is very important, and as AAU as an institution, we're well placed to ensure that we lead change and we carry our stakeholders with us on these levels of positive change to the summit. And until we get to the summit, AAU won't relent on its purpose and also on its hope to bring quality and leverage quality across all African universities. Prof, thank you so much for your time with us at AAU Talks, and also thank you very much for staying with us and following the conversation. Let us hear from you through the comment section on how you feel the AAU is contributing to elevating the status of African universities from what we were 100 years ago until now. Until then, be safe, take care of yourselves, and be blessed. Have a nice day and bye.